Houses were pulled down. All communities were split up. Communities that you could used to walk into one another's doors and instead of that, all you're walking into spare ground. It's been left vacant. Because I refuse to leave Govan. We've been born, brought up here, all my family's here, friends. So I don't see why we should actually be like nomads in the desert. If there's no work here, travel for work which should be provided here for the local community.
There's more damage done with the masters than it was done with a war. Because they've brought the whole community up completely. I mean, they've left it just as what you say, barren land. With nothing to look forward to at all. And as you say, it's a bad day if people got to leave home to travel abroad and leave one to home, isn't it?
Do you feel you've been rewarded for the years you've worked in the shipyards? 50 years now?
No way, no way. See the redundancy money they give me. You could have spent it in a couple of drinks. I mean, poultry for a year you pay into a ship. The money was absolutely rubbish.
Come, all of you workers, to toil night and day, by hands and by brain, to earn your pay who for centuries long past, for no more than your bread, have bled for your countries and counted your dead in the factories and mills. In the shipyards and mines, we've often been told to keep up with the times, but our skills are not needed. They've streamlined the job, and with slide rule and stopwatch our blind day of raw die. But when the sky darkens and the prospect is war,
Crew, because we worked in a shed and it was, you were up to your knees in fine dust, and you were mock you were black. You were more like a mine than you were a shipyard worker. Even the toilet, if you went to the toilet and you weren't feeling too good, and if you stayed in over 3 minutes, you were paying half a crown for it. That's definitely, that's actually true.
It's true.
I mean, that is definitely true. There's no spiffing about it.
I honestly thought that was in the realms of fairy tales. I thought that was a joke, you know.
No, that was actually true.
People are afraid to open their mouth because they know they can be paid off at any time. There's 12 men to 100 men doing it at the yard within half an hour looking for your job.
I always expected to carry the can.
And if you speak up, you're branded a troublemaker. We've divided and ruled for long enough, man. But it's went a full circle now. From my dad's time to my time. It's went full circle.
I suppose it's thinking of a utopia that people would have jobs, better paid jobs, money that they can live on. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be a hand-to-mouth existence. Not when you think of the wealth that Great Britain's supposed to have. Mind you, being in Great Britain, I suppose wealth depends on what end of the whip that you're at, whether you're giving it or whether you're getting it. And it's not just in Glasgow. I mean, that's all over this so-called nation.
Do you feel it ironic, Danny, that after the advances that the working class made through the years, for virtually slave labour when Sabre started in the yards, to where he's near enough had control over some decisions that was made, that when you got to that point, then all the industry was pulled out because the profits weren't as good as they were, and they were taken to, or sometimes third world countries, to use the profits they'd made here and just to leave the community to fend for themselves.
White labour, slave labour, they get black slave labour. So they're only different in colour, Jimmy. That's what they actually went and done. I mean, there was skinty white labour, They took all the ends with them and sapped them dry to wait to get black ones, so they were no different.
When I was being brought up in Neptune Street at St Govan, they called that the Irish Channel because of the high percentage Irish people that lived in it. As you were brought up when you were younger, you always hear people saying you never had very much, but we really never had very much. We've still not got nothing. But they would maybe have a party now and again, and it would be all Irish songs they would sing about a dying rebel, you know, a fella dying in Brixton prison. Maybe sing songs like Kevin Barry and things like that. So you're brought up with, you know, it is part of one of the two traditions inherent in the working class here in the west of Scotland. Basically, to some of the boys in the band is a hobby. To other people in the band, it is as a way of socialising, to feel together, to feel you're building, you know. You're not held back with any inhibitions. You're building, it's yours, it belongs to us. Maybe not the best band in the world musically. In fact, music is only secondary importance, but it's a feeling of belonging.
My brother-in-law, he's in the Orange Lodge. I asked him, would you join the Orange Lodge for? My mates were in it. I said, your mates were in it? He says, aye. So, I asked him a couple of years now. Things that... It's that thing, Sloan. I say, the things that happen in the Orange Lodge is unbelievable. He says, am I working? He says, aye. He says, you working? I said, no. He says, I'll always have a job. As long as I wear that sash, I'll always have a job. That was his reply, man.
loyalist means to be loyal to what exactly?
The Protestant faith.
Your Protestant faith, and your order and your queen, your family, your mum, dad and your queen.
What do you think of Republican flute bands? They're very similar.
Well, they've got their cause as well as we've got our cause, but they don't need to come out the same day we're coming out because you know they're going to start trouble.
Do you think people should be so up against each other? Do you think you've got some things in common between...
Not really, they come in the world the same way we come in. It's just a religion, that's all it is. It's their faith, it's their faith. They go their matches, we go our matches.
Do you think you've got the same sort of problems though in terms of jobs and the lack of that?
We have. Yeah, we're all just equal. Most of them are unemployed. That's what it is.
And why do you split up like this between loyalism and, you know,
It's just, it's just the way we've been brought up, mate. We've got to accept it that way.
What you must remember that everybody in Glasgow, everybody that I've ever knew, has been brought up either Catholic or Protestant. So the minute you're born, there is a label attached to you. You're expected throughout your life to stand by that label. Even through school, you've got people like Catholic cats eat the rats, 2 for tuppence halfpenny. Proddy dogs eat the frogs, 2 for tuppence halfpenny. So the division is reinforced. You know what I mean? So for the very day they've been brought up, through every institution, whether it be school or church, they've been divided. So you can't really expect them to come together overnight.
When I first joined the band, it was only because I thought it was a way of getting back at Protestants. But now, me being in the band so many years, it opens your eyes up completely to just not just being a sectarian. Now you think about other people's struggle.
Find your own balance yourself. What's comfortable, what feels comfortable.
But when I joined the band and started associating with people within that band, I realised that they were from the very same subculture that I'd come from, and yet some of them were pretty well educated, you know. Self-educated, I might add. Well, it set me to thinking along some of the same lines as themselves. And then when I went over to the island and I saw really what was happening with my own eyes, I says, well, this must surely be worth getting into.
Used to read about Ireland and about they had a civil resistance campaign. I was reading about all these people injured and they were marching for things they believed in. And it was just for there, I just took it for there, and I sort of believed in their struggle, and that was me. I sort of believed in the Republican movement. That's why I wanted to join the band. That's, I don't know, just me putting across my point of view, being in the band, you know.
Before we joined the band, we only knew what we read in the papers, what we heard in the news, things like that.
British view.
The British view, the media's view. But when you join the band, you see for yourself. When you go to Ireland, you can see for yourself. So it opens your eyes up very much that way.
You can tell the British media, half it's just a lot of nonsense. You go and find out for yourself what it's like, then you know the truth. So sometimes the British media, they don't say nothing about the oppression. They stick by their own kind. It's just that everybody's against the oppressed people.
Sometimes people would say you're a sectarian band because you only play for Irish Republican marches. Would you argue against that? Would you say?
I argue very strongly against that because we've done Welsh marches, we've done Scottish marches, racism marches, a lot of racist marches. We support the coloured people in this country especially, and being in the band opens your eyes to all these things.
He's not got that drum you lost, mate, no? He's not get that drum you lost.
See you later, right? Gone it.
I've been getting the £3 off at whisky dinner.
Just give some money to book for Bonnie, it doesn't matter.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah, money, mate. £3 he's on, mate.
There you go, my friend.
£3 only.
First time in history of any flute band has a curry been served on the bus to Stranraer.
This is a unique achievement in the annals of Republican history. This ceremonial breaking of bread. There we go, Matthew.
Jesus Christ.
I just hope this isn't the last supper.
Praise, I just hope this isn't the last of us. Praise be to Allah. What do you think, man?
What do you think?
Damn Bernie, man. Ah, fuck Driver, man. Look for a driver.
In Irish history, there was actually a Celtic invasion of Scotland, and much of the culture of Scotland comes from those Irish origins, like the kilt, the bagpipes, and even the dances. And there's a lot of strong cultural links going back many, many centuries. But in terms, say, of the Irish today in Scotland, many of them came to avoid the famine. Many of them came at the time of the railway boom during the period of industrialisation, say from 1801 onwards. But the period of the famine actually is, to the English people, it's a period of the potato blight. Full story of the famine was that Ireland was producing a lot of cereals. There was a lot of food in the country, but the landlords put the rents up, and food was actually being exported out of Ireland at the time when people were dying on the ditches and the roads. 2 million people died and 2 million emigrated. The population of Ireland was halved within a period, say, of 4 years.
Oh, I'll give you presents. I'll give you presents. I'm not kidding. How's your wee brother? Huh?
About 20 of us coming. 20?
Oh, no, I ain't going overseas. Come on first, Wally. Come on, come on for a pen.
Always march beside the guy on your left, right? Okay. And you're missing half a band here, so make sure you do it right. You've only got half a band, so do it okay, right?
A lot of the bands were called traditional names, like the Shamrock or the Harp. You get the bands that are coming up now are taking maybe Irish martyrs' names, some of the men that died in hunger strike. You've got a Bobby Sands band, a Patsy O'Hara band, Francis Hughes band. They probably relate to them because they know the people were fighting the monster, died fighting the monster. And they were challenging the role of a foreign occupying army in their country, and they died. They died just as much the same as if they died if it was in the hills of Palestine. Didn't make any difference that they died in a concentration camp. It's just tough luck that we happen to live in Glasgow. If we lived in maybe somewhere in the north of England, we didn't have this inbuilt sectarianism that's been fostered on the people through the years, then we maybe have been able to build up a lot of support and maybe helped. But there's no converts in Glasgow. You're either one or the other. It's no left or right or black or white. It's green or orange. Whereas we've broke out of that mould to a certain extent. Other people are not interested in that now.
You feel under constant pressure that they're watching. It's not just foot patrols that come around on Land Rovers, Saurus, and secret observation posts, cameras. They can more or less tell me what I had for my breakfast.
It'll turn down again, so it does. Goes around, up and down the falls, the whole way.
Are they likely to be looking at you now?
Aye, they are.
See the cameras right down.
They're probably slang, isn't it?
Well, they're probably saying it to them silly bastards.
But he's feeling fuckers now.
You go downtown, over in England, you don't get
Checkpoints.
searched. Downtown here,
See checkpoints.
you go down, reborn babies, look on their prams, get searched now. And over in England, there's not, don't do all that, there's a shit. Or here, that's it. Don't get searched. There's always somebody watching.
Like a ghost behind us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to come to the star attraction of the evening. It's the James Connolly Band. And they've come the whole way from Glasgow, Scotland. And let's give a big warm Belfast welcome. Thank you.
Because it's Scottish people, but whereas when the Scotch soldiers come over here, they're British soldiers, and that's the difference. My sister's in Armagh jail, and when we went up to see her, and we were coming home, and the British Army stopped us, and he was Scotch. And he said that, I told him to go back to his own country, and he said Ireland was his country. I said, no, Scotland's his country. He says, no, he was British. He has no country.
Give us another. Listen, the bus is no here, you're as well just playing an ad, shouldn't you?
Drop them.
Listen, see... Wait a minute, Tony. See, when the bus comes, get on the bus right away. I'm not kidding because you're cutting time short. Right, well, you need to get on this bus. Tony, come on.
Right, Tony. Giant show you. That's because his buckle's nappy. Oh, here's me being one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll find that out.
I'm not going home. I'm staying. I'm a fool.
Glasgow dog. Hey, watch him, a bad show here. To speak in Glasgow. Speak Scottish. Speak Scottish. Speak Irish.
There's a lot of things that's happening here that maybe happened in Belfast, Northern Ireland years ago. You had the civil rights in Northern Ireland. It was lack of work, lack of housing facilities. And I can see the same thing happening here, not only in Scotland, but England and Wales as well. Not through a sectarian or religious attitude, but because the working class people have taken that much from the various governments, and it's not just the Tory government, all of them, your political parties. They promise you the earth, and then when it comes to it, you get nothing.
I don't know when Priesthill got built, possibly when they were, say, 30 years or something, but they built a place for thousands and thousands of people. They didn't have wash houses, cinemas. No, they never had a public house till just lately. They had nothing, no social amenities, no social outlets for the people. Just masses of people who maybe went to work, or travelled to work and travelled back. And that was their existence.
You'll join a band because your feelings are strong enough to do it, not as an alternative at all. Obviously it is creative. I mean, you're learning something new, you're learning to play an instrument, and that is creative. But you're doing that towards a political view, you're doing it because you want to show your political views, so obviously it's a bit more biased towards the political side of it. And you want to show your feelings, you want to show that you're playing your flute and you're out in marches and demonstrations because you want to show, you want social change. If you want to do something hard enough and you've got a reason to do it, then that makes you try harder and the difficulties aren't so bad then. Although it's difficult learning an instrument, and that's just one of the things, but it's all right once you start, and if you keep going, it's just a matter of practice, like as in most things. I mean, just practice, and if you want to do it, you'll do it. In general, the society has always tended to... The women are always sort of classed as, not inferior, but a sort of second-class citizen. And although laws have been to change this, the attitude hasn't really changed. I'm studying for engineering, okay, and the general reaction is a bit of surprise and a bit of amusement as well. I mean, I feel that's wrong, but the attitudes are always there in society. And so I think being in a band, it's different. I mean, you're not classed on whether you're a man or whether you're a woman. I mean, it's what you feel, not what you are. And that's E, okay? That E, right? Look, the first one's D and the next one's E. And that is put your fingers down on that one and lift that one and press the round key. And cover the fingers. Right, try that one. Just the same as you blow your D. Right, go. Right, again.
But then do you generally think that it's what your mother used to tell you when you were young and all? Like when you were in the kitchen, Mary, she used to say, "Now you watch what I'm doing," so that you'll know when you're old enough to date for somebody.
That's what I mean by
you follow in your own mother's footsteps, really.
Say you go for an interview and you fill in your details, name and address, occupation. You put down housewife. And they're reading through the card and say, "Housewife, have you got any experience?" Well, you could turn around to them and you could say, "Yes, I'm a chef when it comes to a point. I can do accountancy," because, I mean, you need to have the brains behind you to run a house. I can do my nurse, my nanny. When you think of things that you do in an ordinary day in your own house, if you were getting paid for it, you'd be under a fortune. But you don't. I mean, it's taken for granted that a woman does this.
if there's any girls in the house, they always get the housework and things to do. I mean, a boy wouldn't need to go a message or anything when there's lasses in the house, you know. You know, it's going to iron my shirt, I'm going out the night. It's because they're always just, they're the breadwinners and they come in and their supper's supposed to be on the table for them and all that, you know. But that's the way it always was, you know, men. Even the ones that aren't working go down and stand at the bookies and they'll shout up to their wives, is the tea ready yet? You know, but it's...
I don't think it's even men's attitude, it's the system's attitude towards women. You're there and it's your place to put on an apron and provide everything that a mother's supposed to provide. And I think that the attitude towards women is if you can't provide it, then there's something wrong with you. You know, sometimes you feel like, you know, one of the kids is getting on your nerves, going to wallop them, and then you turn and say, well, you can't do that because I've hit them. You know, it's not right to hit them. But sometimes you've got no other release from the frustrations, especially if you're stuck in the house all day long.
And it's a shame just now because I think the kids now are getting, they're more independent, like the lasses, you know, they kind of say to themselves, oh, well, I'm not going to be stuck in the house and that. But it's happened at a bad time that they've came to this decision because they've no other option, because there's no jobs, so they're just going to be stuck in the house. I think now that women speak up for themselves more than like, say, my mother. She would never open her mouth, you know, or like say anything back, but now women do say, no, I'm sick here, I'm going out to get a job and that. But there's no jobs for them now. It's a good thing it's happened that they're more independent, but it's happened at the wrong time. It's just at a bad time now.
You used to ask somebody, you would ask yourself, what are you going to be when you leave school? I'm going to be a nurse or I'm going to be a fireman. You ask Wayne what he's going to do now, what does he say? I'll go in the door. See, they're just following their dad's footsteps. My dad's in the dole, but Wayne's think the dole is a job because they get paid for being on the dole. But Wayne's don't understand that what they're getting paid is very little.
I think they'll start getting used to it, and once they grow up, they'll expect not to have any money anyway because nobody's ever got any money, you know. Just get used to it.
You shouldn't have to get used to it.
No.
I mean, at least whenever I left school, you had a bit of a chance of getting a job. That's not the type of future that I want my children to have. To come out of school and say, right, that's me, on the dole.
And that as well, that social security, I think it's a takedown. When these people come into your home and start asking you personal questions and you have to start explaining all that to them. And if the kids need shoes, you're pleading with them, you know. There's for clothes and things like that off them, I think it's a disgrace.
You know? You carry on, isn't it, that you have to go to the school? If you need a clothing grant, you have to go to a teacher?
You have to take the kids to the headmistress. That's right. And like, say, Anne-Marie and Marsha's age, you know, they're 10, they know what's going on. Couldn't possibly take them down and say, look,
no. What would take is one of your pals to find out and then the kids get sneered at. Don't know, your mammy can't afford shoes.
It's like the parish days. You know, back to the parish.
So it is.
You're up the whole year.
You know, the parish.
So it is, they'll be stamping the clothes next. For kids to give out
That's
their
right.
own what they used to do. I was working for £18 a week, from 6 in the morning to 9. That was six days a week. And, and that was Saturday and Sunday anyway. That's right. And you were off the Monday and you were working all the rest of the week, Saturday and Sunday. You didn't even get any extra double time or time and a half. No, £18 a week was hit full wage, which is ridiculous. Yours is the same, but your swear places, no great thing, but 142. I know. And some of the places you have to clean in there, as you know, Josie, are ridiculous. I mean, they're filthy. If people went in and seen them, you know, see if you seen it, Anne-Marie, you would say, God, turn your stomach, you know, for that, for 142 an hour. But they get away with it because people need the money, so they'll do it, you know. If you're desperate for the money, you'll go out and do that kind of work.
I think it might be empty. I think this place might be empty. I think maybe everybody might immigrate to somewhere. I think it might be all computers doing things for you and everything, like doing your housework, robots and everything, and you just slide down really easy. I think it'd be better like the old days, that you could just exchange goods. Like if you're a fisher, you exchange fish, and if you're a sewer, exchange clothes. Or if you're a plant, or if you're a farmer, you exchange food. I think it'd be good like that, and you wouldn't need really money. You just need to, like, say their dad was a farmer, they could carry on what they do, or whatever your mum worked as or your dad worked as it. You could do it. You're not unemployed or anything like that. I think jobs in the future will be very scarce because factories and that are getting pulled down and they're getting closed and that, and people are getting sacked and that. So I don't think there'd be many jobs in the future. I think you should get jobs once you're about 14 or 15 because once you're older you might not get any chance of getting any other job.
The same as the Industrial Revolution was supposed to be the great enlightening age, it brought us from the Dark Ages. So the technology will be the same. The minority that controlled the industry will be the same minority that will control the technology. So not only are you de-skilling people and taking their skills away and making them dependent on state handout and things like that, you're still not changing the balance in society.
You see the utter absurdity of the position that we're in here. We've got, when I say we, I don't mean we as a working class, I mean the British government and their American and European allies, so-called allies, have got nuclear bases only 20 odd miles down the Clyde there, and they're stockpiling these terrible, horrendous nuclear arms, weapons. Nobody was ever consulted, the people that lived in that near vicinity, that nobody was ever consulted, do you want these missiles to be here? They were superimposed on them. Do you understand me? I mean, those people were not, it didn't matter to the government what those people thought.
We must get back to basics. I'm talking about in Glasgow and west of Scotland particularly, and get rid of this evil that does really beset society, and it is religious bigotry and sectarianism. When the working class begin to realise that we should be pulling in the same direction, religion is only a label attached to us. It's a class matter, it's a whole class matter.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the role of the church, I mean, the sheer hypocrisy of the Malvinas or Falklands campaign, call it what you will, that really astounded me was the way that you were getting these newsreels from Buenos Aires or wherever it is, and however you pronounce the place, and you see these Catholic ministers or bishops blessing the Argentinian troops going into battle, you know, and then you see these tracts of film from the dock sides at Plymouth and, you know, Fast Lane to a certain extent, and you see these British Catholic and Presbyterian, Protestant, Anglican ministers blessing the British troops, you know, and they're blessing the two of them to destroy each other. Should they not have been saying to the troops, the very troops that they were baptising and in the name of the Lord going to fight? Should they not have been saying to them, now listen lad, you're going out here, you're sacrificing your life, and then you go back to your slum in Buenos Aires with 130% inflation and all the pro-capitalist institutions that you can think of, and you laddie, you'll be going back to Liverpool to talks to fight, and where the police will harass you and jail you, and back to your 3 or 4 or 5 million unemployed. They were not saying that to those troops.
Nobody won out of the Malvinas reconquest. Argentinian working class died and British working class died. Poor British sailors for, as you say, Liverpool and Sheffield. Working class, poor working class English and Scottish boys for Ibrox and Pollard. And these districts died for what? What did it prove? It proved nothing. It proved it done nothing for a working class. The working class are always forced to go out and die in any imperialist conflict. But when they come back, they don't own 1 ounce of the soil they're fighting to protect or preserve. They own nothing.
Trying out his milk this way. Alright, Mom.
Well done.
Hi.
Hey, kid. Look busy.
I don't want to be for long. I don't want to be there. It's not.
Nancy, you know
Don't get away, don't get away. You say that you finish it.
When he marched to the east and the west, and when they bore his body down
Right, Mike, you want to give us a report on the dance Friday night?
Well, what did you think of the dance?
Good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Does anybody get anything to say about the dance that they didn't like?
People were playing, just shouting. You know, I'm not casting any glances at part there, but people do tend to get exuberant. And if you take a good drink and you start dancing, invariably you'll miss some notes in the flute. And with the hall being that way and the acoustics being bad, everybody's got to play. You can't keep on relying on the same fluters that you are relying on all the time to not to miss any notes, see? So it maybe help me a bit better if you get less oil the next time.
There's a couple of requests were made for a couple of Celtic tunes on Friday night, and I were totally ignored. Even if 2 or 3 floaters were making an attempt, at least show the appreciation of that you're at a Celtic supporters dance and no Republican dance. That's the band sergeant, he just fucking looked at me as if I was daft or something, no?
See, that happened the last time, Matt, and we'd been trying to learn them some Celtic tunes, but at that same time we were learning the Welsh tunes, you remember, for the Welsh March, and we were trying to get a bigger selection of Scottish tunes at the time. So we were learning Scots Way and Scotland the Brave, and then we were learning that Man of Harlech for the Welsh March, and we were trying to get in the Celtic song, Hail, Hail the Celts are here, and it's a grand old team to play for. So if we started it and actually learned it right, but when we go to learn people something, see when they go up on the floor and they go to play a tune and they take it wrong and you ask them to do it again and they maybe make a couple of mistakes and do it again. See if you do it any more than 3 times, some of them get a bit annoyed and threaten you with physical violence. That's honest. I mean, it sounds funny, but...
I'm sure it was for a dozen. Fluters can play a couple of Celtic tunes.
Do you want to just pat off the drum? Because we hear the flutes in here if they're too fast or too slow, or who's not holding on to their notes and who's holding on to them too long. Okay? Right, try it. Aye, just a wee tap. Right, when you're ready. What I feel about the band is it's an autonomous unit and it's own. It's no, as I said before, it's not run by any government bodies, it's no state subsidised. It's done entirely through our own initiative. It can only be people showing their abilities and their talents to mould it and change it and put it in whatever direction we want. When we go to other places and we realise the way other people live and things like that, and we begin to question that, then that in itself is a slight form of resistance. Most people expect you just to think accept your fate in life. It's preordained for you. But I don't go along with that notion. I never have went along with that notion for a long time. I used to accept it because I never knew any better. Maybe I still don't know as much as I would like to think I know. But I don't believe that the working class is preordained to just be here, serve a purpose, and disappear to the next generation and the same again and again and again. I think we are here and we've got every right to challenge any system that we feel we should challenge for the betterment of the working class. And definitely being a member of that band and the way it's changed over the years has helped.
Right, James Conley.